All right, I'm sure we are live. Okay, good day, good. Hello, hello, everyone. Hello, Nigeria. Hello, Africa. Hello, everyone. Hello, world. Yeah. So it's a pleasure to welcome you to this edition of IDOWU Africa, the series. Okay, today we have a guest. Before we talk about our guest, I would like to say the moment you join in, you might be seeing this video. Maybe it plays later, a little slower while you are watching. So please just send a message and tell us where you are watching from, and we just take it up from there. So very quickly, I'll be reading the profile of the bio of our guest today. He's an expert in many areas, but his expertise, the core expertise he has is in the agribusiness, and he has been doing this for years. Mr. IDOWU ASENUGA. He is the convener of West Africa Agribusiness Show, the largest agribusiness show in in the whole of Africa. Yeah, yeah. So I'll be reading his bio in a bit, but I would like to say welcome, sir. Thank you for availing us this time. Thank you for coming on
Thank you
board.
very much, Tyler. It's a pleasure to be with you this evening.
All right. A quick one. Let me quickly go into the bio. Okay. Idowu Ashenuga is a seasoned entrepreneur with a successful track record in wide range of industries. He has successfully brought several businesses from grass to grace through strategic application of his management skill. His contribution to the agribusiness sector, poultry and crop production in Nigeria is quite impressive. Mr. Ashenuga, who is a certified project management professional, holds a master's degree in business administration from Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agoiwoye, Ogun State, and a bachelor's degree in electrical and electronics engineering from University of Benin, Edo State, Nigeria. He also holds he also holds two master's degrees in agribusiness management and food beverage management from Rome Business School in Italy. He has done extensive work in the design, construction, and installation of several turnkey livestock and grain projects, making him a key player in the Nigerian agribusiness industry. Mr. Idowu Ashenuga is an advocate of livestock grain value chain integration and supply chain management, I beg your pardon. Idowu is the convener of West Africa Agribusiness Show, WAS, a fellow at the Institute of Agribusiness Management, Nigeria, and belongs to several international societies such as Project Management Institute, USA, Irrigation Association, USA, and also serves on the board of several other companies in various capacity and consultancy capacities, namely MOFA, MOFA Poultry, MOFA Poultry, Value Corp, Book Safety Solutions, Tori Lee, and Agri Supplies. Wow, what an impressive bio. Okay, that is the bio of Mr. Idowu Ashenuga. So impressive, and okay, I think I have some questions to ask you already going through your bio. So welcome once again, sir.
Thank you very
It's a
much,
pleasure.
Tyler. It's a pleasure once again to be here.
Okay, so right now we'll go straight into the business of the day. We go straight into the business of the day. So I would like to ask you. Okay, so from your bio, I understand that you have done extensive work in the agri space for a while now. Beyond Nigeria, both locally and internationally. So you've done a lot of things. You've worked with a number of companies, and you've done a lot of courses as well to to improve your knowledge bank and all that. All this because of agriculture and the agribusiness. So you like to tell us what exactly are your motivations? What exactly is your driving force in this direction?
Yeah, thank you very much, Tyler. I want to say a warm evening to all our guests that are listening, all across Nigeria, Africa, and probably the rest of the world. Talking about the motivation, basically, I was born into the agribusiness space. My father has an agribusiness company called ADOWU, Nigeria Limited. It's almost 40 years old and still existing. And that actually became the bedrock of my formative interest in agribusiness. And just like I told you, I grew up into this more or less. And going to the university to study engineering, and I got out of school, served in an oil company, had a stint a little bit. I couldn't get it fulfilled because I could not connect. In Nigeria, when you study engineering, there's a major disconnect between what you study in school and what you get to the field to do at the end of the day. No way for me to actually practice adequately. So, but then I could connect with the agribusiness because I could see my father first get his day do his oil palm, grow his fish, grow his maize, have his piggery. I could connect with that. And I'm like, okay, that should be the case for me to actually begin to drive my entrepreneurship experience. That was how I quickly got out of the oil space and then joined my partner in the agribusiness. That was way back in 1997. And ever since then, it's been a jolly ride. It's very hard work. And today, we've been able to set up quite a few number of companies. We've been able to build projects that are lining up, especially in Nigeria. And so far, like I said, it's been a journey. But when you look at Africa, because that is the context you realize that Africa needs food. So we have a 1.2 billion population that is undernourished and that needs food. And for me, Africa deserves quality food. And there's a need for us all together to see how we can make that happen. So basically, those are the things that speak my interest in agribusiness. I was born into it, and then the need to give food to the population is also a motivating factor. Thank you.
Okay. So, guys, Mr. IDOWU was actually born into these, and aside from being born into these, he's actually so passionate about the fact that we are having, a lot of population in Africa, and yeah, we still complain about food. We have farmlands, we have everything that can actually, majorly things that can, that can support the agricultural, and agribusiness, but we still have the issue of shortage of food. So I want to believe that's one of that. He's saying that is one of his motivation, and then the fact that he was actually born into it. So this is the right person, like born into the agribusiness. That is so interesting. Okay, so I would like to ask you again, sir. So what do you think are the three major challenges in Africa of today? If you're looking at Africa
Well,
generally, what are the major challenges?
well, when you look at Africa, for me, I've always argued this when I get into public discourse. For me, the number one problem with agriculture or agribusiness, I would like to use the word agribusiness because it's a broader perspective, which of course incorporates agriculture itself. But then when you look at the challenges in the agribusiness, for me, the fundamental problem is knowledge, is know-how. A lot of people talk about capital, but I stand to disagree on that because even if you have all the money in the world, if you don't have the knowledge that you need to apply to ensure that there's productivity and you could maximize your operation, your money is going to disappear. And that's why you're seeing that investment is not being attracted into the agribusiness space, where there's limited knowledge. And investors needs information. Investors needs to be sure that when they throw in their money is going to come back. So there is limited capacity within the agribusiness space in Africa and in Nigeria in particular. So when you look at that void, it poses a great challenge to our productivity. In Nigeria, if you check the scarcity of maize, we've deployed over 3 million hectares to maize cultivation, only 3 million hectares to rice cultivation in Nigeria. But then what is our output? What is the yield? Per hectare. And when you look at the number of hectares deployed also to maize, okay, these are the yield per hectare, you will understand why we are having scarcity in the country economy. So productivity, due to lack of knowledge, is being inhibited. And for me, that is the first thing we need to address as a people. And then, of course, the second thing we also need to speak to is the lack of data, the lack of information. If you're going to invest and you don't have data, do your business analysis, to do your data analysis for you to be able to practically, be sure that what I'm going to throw my money into, I'm actually going to get profit, or it's going to be profitable. There are no data to back up analysis, and you can't really get this data because nobody is really keeping them. And that's why I'm so excited that tomorrow I'll be interviewing the Assistant General of Nigeria at the NBS to speak to this very serious issue of data. Because data is money, information is money. Okay, and the difference between somebody that is rich and someone that is poor is the information that is available to them and how they process them. So if you don't have the information and you don't have data, of course you're going nowhere. So Africa needs to work on data. It's very important, and it's something we should take very, very seriously. And then, of course, finally, I can now go to finance. Okay, there's a need for us to attract the right financing into the agribusiness sector. For instance, if you look at Nigeria, the target of the CBN in the last almost 9 years is for them to ensure that lending to the agribusiness sector gets to the tune of about 12%. But today, the sector is barely doing 4%. So the sector clearly needs funding. But then my own argument is, even if you make funding available and they know how the capacity is not there, your money is going to disappear. So I think if we are able to address those three fundamental problems or challenges, we can begin to change the narrative in the agribusiness sector. Thank you.
Awesome. So this is what I hear you say, sir. You say it's not more about financial capital; it's more of knowledge capital. So you need to get knowledge capital before you even start thinking about financial capital when you want to start agribusiness.
Absolutely.
Okay. So you mentioned that for you, in your own opinion, we have the issue of knowledge capital. Knowledge capital. We have the issue of data. So access to data, then maybe finance can now come later. So finance is even the least because
Sure.
there are a lot of people who feel we believe agribusiness is if you really want to do agribusiness the way you should, it's more of capital. It requires capital first. You have to have the money, get to the bank, and before you start thinking of any other thing.
No, yes, Tayo. Of course, every business requires capital, regardless of what you
Yeah.
want to put your money into. But then it's very important
Mm,
that you have capacity
mm.
and the knowledge. Okay, and like I
Okay.
told you earlier, the difference between success and failure is information and capacity.
Mhm.
Okay, so I've seen a lot of people throw money into agribusiness, and I've seen their money disappear. Okay, so it's not about the money; it's about that capacity. Okay, having that intellectual capacity, okay, for you to be able to deploy your resources and ensure that it gives you the right outcome. So for me, that's number one, and then of course, if you don't have data, if you don't have information, it's very, very difficult for you to do your analysis. And if you can't have your cash flow projection, if you can't have your business plan intact, because for you to do all of those things, you need data. And in this part of the world, data is hardly readily available and accessible. And even when you look at accuracy, it's also a challenge. And those are the things we hope to speak to tomorrow when we talk to the Solicitor General of Nigeria, hopefully. Yeah.
Okay, okay, awesome. Thank you so very much, sir. So I know you've been doing quite a number of things about in towards fixing this African continent. So I know about what and what you are doing, and it's really really commendable. It's really commendable. So would you like to tell us more about the things you as a person have been doing, towards fixing the African continent?
Well, just like I've told you, my own belief, although I stand to be corrected, but my belief basically is we need to look at capacity. We need to look at capacity. We need to look at information. We need to look at networking. Okay, and those are the reasons why we felt there's a need for us to tell our own stories. There's a need for us to tell the world where our needs are. Okay, and that was what actually led us to setting up the West Africa Agribusiness Show, which we believe if you're solving a problem in Nigeria, Nigeria and the rest of West Africa probably have the same problem. And then, of course, one of the challenges we've had in Africa is the fact that we're not, you know, we're not transferring knowledge even within the continent. Okay, we're always looking abroad for solutions, and you will be amazed that the solution to your problem in Nigeria is in Ghana. Okay, is in Senegal. Whereas you're going to the West that have different climates, different culture, different environment from you. I cannot even comprehend, what is going on in your environment. If you ask an average American about Africa, they think Africa is a country. Okay, so you,
True.
you need to tap into what is available from within before you start looking outward, and that is what WAS was intended to do. Now let us create a platform where the critical stakeholders within the agribusiness space in West Africa can look at each other highball to highball, discuss the fundamental problems, and then begin to find solutions to some of these problems. And of course, we want to also be able to create this same platform through which the best of innovation, the best of technology, the best of know-how can be displayed and then deployed into the West African region for optimization and productivity. And that was what led us to setting up, the first edition, maiden edition, which took place in February at Landmark in Victoria Island, Lagos. And it was very well received globally. We had more than 62 exhibitors from all across the world. And then, of course, we had a very outstanding participation from across various sectors within the agribusiness space. So for us, that's a major milestone and our own contribution to improving the agribusiness space generally. And then since we finished the event in February, we've been holding webinars to ensure that we discuss some of these issues. We don't just leave it to become a yearly affair. We want to continue the engagement, and we've been able to set up 2 webinars every month to ensure that we speak to some of these issues that are challenging efficiency, productivity, and optimization in Nigeria and West Africa. And these are really been well received by our participants and people that are plugging into our platform. So that is one of our contributions. And of course, our business has been able to localize a sizable number of knowledge. I can recall like some 7 years ago when we do installations, we usually fly in technicians from Europe to come and handle most of our critical installation. But I stand bold today to tell you that that is no longer the case. We've been able to turn back, that trend, and now we have local technicians that has been trained, in Europe that handles most of our installations and they've been doing fantastic jobs. And I'll give you an example. During this COVID, there was someone that got an equipment from China. Unfortunately, because of the lockdown, they couldn't fly in their technician to do their equipment installation. And then they contacted us, and then we were able to, go in. And then we find it wasn't an equipment we've done before, but then we could connect with the Chinese manufacturer, and then interact with them remotely. And today that equipment has been installed. And what that speaks to is the fact that there's local capacity. It's doable. It's possible. And now that our naira is even being further devalued, there's a need for us to find think global but act local. So those are some of our contributions, and of course, we are participating in most of the agribusiness association, the Institute of Agribusiness Management of Nigeria, and the fellow. We are actively participating and collaborating with them. We are also collaborating with Nigeria Agribusiness Group to see how we can partner and forge ahead. We are also working very actively with the Poultry Association of Nigeria, with the All Farmers Association of Nigeria, and even Lagos Chambers of Commerce and Industry and the parent body in ASENUGA. So we're trying to see how we can together begin to have these frank discussions that will ensure that we change the narrative in Ghana.
Okay. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. That's impressive, quite impressive. Thank you very much. And sir, I would like to ask again. So, agribusiness as it is. Okay, sorry, let me quickly say, welcome, Eze Ogochukwu. I see you. Thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And every other person on the show. Okay, so people say, agribusiness. They believe. I think some people, to a very large extent, still believe that agribusiness is just for how do I put it now? It's not for really the learned, it's not for the elites, kind of, and some who actually believe that elites can go into agribusiness still feel like um, they don't really have a role to play in agribusiness. Meanwhile, agriculture is what like a leveler. Everybody actually partake of agriculture one way or the other across the globe, across the continent of Africa. So, how do you think people across industries can, be a major player in agribusiness? Take for instance, finance people or education, for instance. So, how do you think they can become a major player in the agribusiness promotion?
Well, Tyro, the reality about this basically is when you look at agribusiness is wild. Okay, and then when I was, doing my masters in Rome, that was when I could fully appreciate the magnitude. Okay, there's a very extensive value chain, that is there for everybody to tap into. Whether
Okay.
you're into retailing, you're into distribution, you're into logistics, you're into finance, you're into policy making, you're into input supply, you're into production in itself, you're into processing. It's a huge space. And, ironically, um, the challenge is the true contribution of agribusiness to global GDP and even to Africa's GDP has not been clearly defined. I'll give you an example. A furniture company, okay, is an agribusiness. Okay,
Okay.
why? Because they use wood, they use leather, to produce furniture,
Okay.
and all these products are, byproducts of agriculture and agribusiness. So a furniture company is an agribusiness company. A
Wow.
tire manufacturing company that uses rubber to produce their, their tires is an agribusiness company.
Okay.
A pharmaceutical company that uses its raw materials, the agri-based raw materials to produce their pharmaceutical drugs are agribusiness companies.
Okay.
A shoe making company, a bag making company, okay, is an agribusiness company because they
Okay.
use
Okay. I hear you.
leather from animal skin, okay, to make shoes. Okay, even most of the FMCGs, that when producing toothpaste, these are products from agribusiness. So agribusiness is not, when you look at agribusiness, there's the food side of agribusiness and there's the
Okay.
non-food side of agribusiness. Okay, but then
Okay.
the
Okay.
focus
Okay.
usually is on the food side. So
Mm,
agribusiness is huge. So, and
wow.
then what I tell people basically is you just pick your niche where you want to play. You don't have to be the producer. You could just create your own marketplace and then sell. Okay, you could be at a spot where you do just value addition. And now
Okay.
you've seen some companies spring up like farm crowd. What they are speaking to is crowdfunding. That is financing. Okay, you
Mm,
could also be to a
mm.
banker and then you're financing. Okay, so there's a huge opportunity and there's a role for everybody to plug in. Agribusiness is huge. So it's a space, that is so broad that it can accommodate so much people and provide employment for more than 70% of the entire population of Africa.
Okay, so this is what I'm picking out of here, sir. So we need to begin to look into the direction of agribusiness and shifting our gaze off agriculture, as we used to know. Agriculture in my home place where I come from, they say iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀, like iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀, iṣẹ́ ilẹ̀ wa. Agriculture, that is what we do. You need your hoe and you need your cutlasses, and to some extent that kind of orientation is still growing and is still living with a number of us. And even while we are adults, we still live in that reality because of what we've been told. So it's important that we understand or we redefine what agriculture is, and then better still, we shift our gaze of agriculture, and we look into agribusiness, and that is when we can all begin to participate better in the agribusiness. I think that is what you're saying, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you, I'll give you a very quick example that you can possibly relate to this. Okay,
Okay.
today the price of egg at the farm gate is probably about, worst case scenario, let's say 1,000 naira. Okay,
Okay.
now that same egg is being branded. Somebody brands it, packages it, takes it to ShopRite, and then consumers will buy
Mhm.
it. Okay, that's value addition. So you don't have to own the
Okay.
farm. You could just buy the egg at 1,000 naira from the farm gate, package and brand it, take it to the supermarket and sell. And then you make your money. You make maybe like 100 naira, 200 naira, or 150 naira a crate of egg. You're most
Agribusiness.
likely you're most likely better off than even the producer because you're not locking in assets.
Mm. Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
there's a role for everybody to play within the value chain.
Right. So understanding it starts with if you think you want to play in the agribusiness space, it starts with the understanding. Like you said, I'm still going to refer back to what you said the other time, that the major challenge we have in the agribusiness space is not it's not finance as it were. It's more of knowledge, understanding what the agribusiness is all about. And then this value chain of a thing is a critical aspect of agribusiness. Each and everybody needs to understand, so that we can, each and every one of us can, put resources together at our own hand, and then we have a massive production or a massive infrastructure from agribusiness. Wow. Wow, that's so amazing. That's so amazing. Thank you very much. Okay, so I move on to my next concern, and I believe it's the concern of a lot of people to out there. So I have a statistics here that is from World Economic Forum, which says Africa is the world's youngest continent, with more than 70% of its population being below 35 years of age. So, what do you think about the involvement of the African youth in agribusiness? So, what do you think about the involvement of somebody like me, and maybe a little older than myself, somebody in people in their 30s, in their late 20s, and what would you say about their involvement in agribusiness? Do you think it's something that we can say it's fine, or we are good, or do you think youth needs to get more involved in agribusiness? And how well do you think a youth, let's say for instance, a graduate still looking for job, and somebody who is even working, and you have some resources at your disposal, how can I participate in this agribusiness thing?
Well, Tyler, thank you very much. I've seen a lot of booms recently around the, you know, agribusiness space. Everybody's clamoring, about agribusiness. But like I've said earlier, it's not about the money. Okay, it's about knowledge. So for any youth that wants to get involved in the agribusiness space, my advice to them basically is for them to look at their niche. Where do you want to play? Okay, it's a very broad spectrum. Okay, but then where do you want to play? Okay, once the first thing for you to do is to identify where you want to play. And then if you don't have the financial resource, which most likely most of you don't, then the best resource you can leverage on is knowledge,
Okay.
capacity, innovation. I will give you an example. I was watching a video recently and I saw a guy from Ghana that read law, and in his final year, he decided to use his school fees to begin to innovate around producing charcoal from coconut waste. And today, the guy has the biggest, charcoal company for export in Africa.
Awesome.
That's innovation. He started by using a tomato tin, and then he graduated to a pail, a bucket, and then he went to using a drum, and then he continued to innovate. Everybody can afford. You don't even need to buy a tomato can. Okay, so it's about innovation. It's about capacity. It's about knowledge. You, as a youth, you most probably wouldn't have all the resources, to invest into agribusiness. But then what you have is time, and then time is money, because when you invest your time into building capacity and innovation, then you could actually innovate and create something new. Okay, so I mean, my first advice for youth that wants to get into agribusiness is to identify their niche, identify the gaps in the society, and then innovate around those. Okay, innovate around them. And then, if possible, form groups. Look at your contemporaries that have capacities that you lack, and then come together as a small team, and then innovate. So for me, that is the best way they could get into agribusiness. And then one of the challenges why youths are probably not going into agribusiness today is because of the level of productivity. And that falls in the purview of the private sector and government. The level of productivity in the agribusiness sector is very low. Today, the average yield per hectare for maize, it's just about 2 metric tons per hectare. So if you produce 2 metric tons per hectare, a ton of maize today, the price is even very ridiculous. It's about 180,000 to 200,000 per ton. So when you produce 2 tons on an hectare, the maximum you get is between 360 to 400. But then in the West, they get about 12 tons. They get 12 metric tons. So just imagine if somebody can innovate and be able to achieve productivity even at 8 metric tons per hectare. Okay, if you're able to achieve that as a youth, and then you have just 1 hectare of land, which is available everywhere, and you cultivate maize and you get 8 tons, if the rock bottom price you can sell maize today is 150,000. If you sell at 150,000, that gives you 1.2 million. Okay, when you get 1.2 million, your cost of production cannot exceed 300,000.
Okay. Wow.
So that's 500,000. So, and that gives you 75,000 naira per month. Separate it on monthly income. So the average graduate in Nigeria today earns 75,000, about 75,000 naira in a month.
Okay.
So if you work on just 1 hectare, and then to produce an hectare of maize takes you just about 5 to 6 months. And then you could still use your extra 6 months to do something else that is productive. And if you want to be more innovative, if you apply irrigation, then you can do 2 cycles in a year. That gives you 150.
Wow.
So at the end of the day, you should look at the gaps. The gaps is lack of productivity. How do you innovate around ensuring that the niche you want to play in is more productive through your knowledge that you are infusing into production for you to optimize? So for me, those are the directions the youth should look at agribusiness from. Or you look at value addition, you look at logistics, you look at, there's so many array of, units where you can play within the value chain. Identify your niche, innovate around it, optimize productivity around wherever you want to play. And then there you go, you will surely make the money.
Wow, wow, awesome, awesome, awesome. So as a youth, because I'm particularly concerned about that youth engagement in the agribusiness, and I believe that these are the questions that is going on in the heart of a lot of them, in their mind, and they are saying, how can I get into this without having the capital? How can I get into this without knowing someone who actually have the wherewithal to get me started? So what I hear you say again is that knowledge, it starts with knowledge, then from knowledge you move it to innovation. Starts with knowledge. From knowledge, you move to innovation. Then innovation is what brings you the fortune you're looking for in agribusiness. And what I'm even seeing in what you said is that the fact that you can do that for your own self, you come up with an innovation or a solution that can make people, get better yields on, per their investment, what they have invested on seeds. If they get better yields and they can see that you have your own, you have results, they can as well even call you to come and help them, that same knowledge you are using, because it still boils
Then
down to, it's still
you then become a consultant,
exactly. You then
and
become
then
a
you charge for
consultant.
knowledge, and then you begin to charge for knowledge. You know, hello,
So
Taya.
that's really amazing. So there's a lot of things that you can you can uh you can leverage. There's a lot of things you can leverage in the agribusiness as a youth. So it's not until you have the cash, it's not until you have the money, it's not until you have the resources. That story of that guy you were talking about that started with just a tin of tomato paste, it's really awesome. And I think, but I think, sir, there's one thing I still feel. Do you think things are really different in Nigeria when it comes to innovation and how people accept it and help you scale? So because I feel like, or it's almost like in Nigeria here. So when you start out as a youth and you have some innovation, you have some idea, and you start out, you start to showcase, or you start to develop your capacity as you are doing that, and you are moving all around to try to say, okay, this is what I do, can you invest, this is what I do. And the fear that goes on in the heart of many is like, all these elderly people, all these rich people, that kind of that kind of mindset, they get your idea and they work on it, and they relegate it to the background. So a lot of youths feel that way, and they think in Nigeria, yeah, the weather is different. I'm saying the weather with respect to how people receive ideas, and how they support innovation in Nigeria. Because they will say this thing, they are doing it in South Africa, we can do it in Nigeria. We have a lot of people who can do that. But we don't get to see these people actually rise to the top. So what would you say is the cause for this? And what do you think would be the way out? What's your take?
Yeah, well, for me, I think I beg to disagree with you. Uh,
Okay.
talking about Nigerians not innovating. I interviewed the MD of Palm Crowdy, Onyeka. Uh, that's about one of the biggest startups that have come out of Africa in the agribusiness space in recent times. Okay, and that was a very great innovation, and they've gotten accelerator funds from all around the world to scale up their operations. So I wouldn't want to accept that Nigerian youths are not innovating. Of course they are, and they are taking their rightful place. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be a steady thing. And of course, I've seen a lot of accelerator programs coming up here and there. Some incubation platforms that are trying to give capacity and support. So it's not going to happen overnight. But then for the youth, those are the areas where they can plug in. And we need to see a sizable number of them go into that innovation aspect of agribusiness, for them to do ag tech solutions that can help optimize, production, and not necessarily be looking at production. So for me, I think we are in the right direction. There's a lot of good things coming out of Nigeria. I mean, that's a fact. Uh, and all we need to just do is to just keep at it, basically.
All right, all right. So it's not about the. It's not that Nigerians are not innovative enough. They are really doing so great, and we should just keep at it and hoping that someday it's gonna happen. So while we keep building capacity, like you said, building capacity.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, okay. So just few more things to go. I'm so much interested in the fact that though the world of today, looking at what has happened, it has proven to us that tech as it is like a major tool too that is a cross cultural, cross industry tool that is needed in all space actually across borders. So how do you think people in the tech should, or which direction do you think we should be looking at as the tech people? Which direction do you think they should be looking at when it comes to agribusiness the most in Nigeria? Because I'm seeing a lot of youth again too. Because why I'm asking this question is this: I know that a lot of people now they're saying in the course of the last 5 months, a lot of people lost their jobs, and some people, startups are coming up, and I know people, quite a number of young people who are into tech as well. They are into tech, and they are looking for innovations because there is innovation everywhere. So they are thinking. So if you would say, like, as a tech person, you are into tech and you want to innovate, what are the things or what are the gaps that you think, because you are a major player in the agribusiness? So what are the things that you think tech needs to quickly come in and fill those gaps? What are the gaps that you think they should come in and fill as soon as possible?
Well, Tayo, thank you for that question. But you see, if you're into tech, the answer to that should be far-fetched. Now, the trend at the global level is digitalization. Okay, every country, whether it's agribusiness or whatever it is, they're looking at building digital economy. Okay, and Africa cannot be an exception. We have to look at
Mm,
how can we begin to digitalize agribusiness. So for
okay,
me, the core focus should be digitalization, because you could digitalize production, you could digitalize marketing and product distribution. Yeah, I'll give you an example. Amazon made the best of their money with Jeff Bezos, became like almost 30 billion rich in 2 months during COVID. That's the power of digital economy.
hmm,
Okay? So it's about digitalization. And the same way you could digitalize, distribution, markets, and all of that, and disrupt and create disruption. You can also disrupt production by using blockchain technology, Internet of Things. There's so robotics, hydroponics. There's a lot of digital technology. You can use your drone technology. You can use several technologies, to drive and optimize that. I mean, those are the areas where innovation is changing. And for me, I think we have what it takes to do this for this thing. Um, Knowledge is now very much easily accessible. Most of them are able to be shared. Okay? So, you probably do this. And then begin to see how they can innovate and begin to change the life.
okay. So digitalization is the way to go, especially when you are in tech.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I think it's a great time for people in tech now to begin to think about how to leverage this seriously, because agriculture is just the way forward. Agriculture for me is the way forward. So everybody needs to you know be thinking agribusiness. You should start thinking agribusiness as a person, no matter who you are, what you do, or wherever you are. So that is what my take from what you have said. Okay.
Sure.
Finally, maybe on a final note, as we round up, it's been said, and it's been said that looking at the situation of things and the flow of events right now in the world generally, Africa is being forecasted like we are moving towards the direction where a lot of power is shifting in our direction with respect to the fact that population in Africa is growing more than anywhere else in the world, as it is declining in China, it's really growing here in Nigeria, in Africa. I mean to say, so I want to say, what advantage does that give us, or what position of advantage does that give us, or how can we take advantage of this thing? People are forecasting a number of things like Africa. We need to take advantage because of maybe workforce, manpower, and all that. But regardless of that, Africa still has its own challenges. So, how best do you think we as a continent can take advantage of this position that we are gradually shifting into?
Well, Tayo. Hello, Tayo.
I'm with you, sir. I can hear you.
Okay. Well, to answer that question, I would say the beautiful thing about Africa is, number one, Africa is the second largest continent in terms of land mass. We have about 30 million square kilometers space, which is
Okay.
equivalent to about 3 billion hectares of land. Okay, out of that 3 billion hectares of land, we have about 600 million hectares that is unutilized. And that 600 million hectares constitutes about 60% of the globally available unutilized land that is left to feed the growing population. So, even if African population is growing, we have the land to feed not just Africans, but the entire world.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Okay.
in terms of land, we have land. Okay.
All right.
And then when you look at the market, Africa again is the second most populated continent in the world after Asia. Okay, we have a 1.25 billion population, which is almost equivalent to the population of either India or China. And that is market. So we have the market, we have the land. Okay, what I believe is missing is the capacity. And I've been saying it. And then when you look at even capacity, the beautiful thing about capacity is the fact that Africa does not need any other part of the world to develop Africa. That's my argument. Africa is about the only continent in the world that has its people spread all across the globe.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have 1.25 billion people living in Africa. And then we have about 300 million Africans living out of Africa. That are doctors, engineers, scientists, pharmacists, professionals, and what have you. So the knowledge we need to develop Africa are with Africans in the diaspora.
Okay.
And also the resources we need to develop Africa is in Africa and is also with Africans in the diaspora. So the connect we need to make in Africa is to connect the Africans in Africa and Africans in the diaspora. Once we make that ignition, it's going to be a tsunami.
Oh,
the growth is going to be crazy. And that's all Africa needs. All Africa needs today are children living in Africa and in the diaspora to collaborate. We don't need anyone else. We don't need anybody to develop Africa. Africans can develop Africa.
Africans can develop Africa.
Absolutely.
I hear you, sir. I hear you, sir.
We have the resources, we have everything it takes. We have the capacity, we have the know-how, we have the financial resource, we have the human resource, We have the natural resource. So we don't need nobody. But then until we're able to create that vision, instead of us to go to our children that are in the diaspora, we are going to the West. The Westerners are not going to develop Africa. The Asians are not going to develop Africa. They're going to exploit Africa. Okay, so for me, that is the vision we need to make. That is the divide we need to bridge. The moment we're able to bridge that divide, the narrative in Africa is going to change. I can bet on that.
Awesome. So the core of all the things, tying everything together, is this: knowledge is key, and then building of capacity is actually it's necessary if we really want to go anywhere at all in the agribusiness as a continent. And then more importantly, it is needed for us as a continent. Like everything we need for Africa to develop is within Africa. The knowledge is with Africans and diaspora, and then the resources, like you said, is here in Africa, and then with Africans in diaspora as well. So we only need to come together and I'm short of words right now. We only need to come together and see, look at the best way we can make things work here in Africa. Wow.
Tayo.
Wow.
And again, you see, there are some great things happening already. There is the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, and it's supposed to take effect from January. I hope it does. Okay, because we need to improve trade within Africa. Africans need to start trading with each other. We need to start trading with each other.
Truth.
Because when you look at our portion in the global trade is about 3%. So we need to begin to trade amongst ourselves. And the way they eliminate us is through all these high standards, all these high benchmarks. And that's how they kick us out of trade. But then Africans can trade among each other. They can set their own benchmark. They can set their own benchmark and then trade among each other.
Okay. So this is the message to Africans. So we need to give room for ourselves. Like open up to more trade within the continent. Stop looking without Africa. Start looking within Africa. Trade African, buy African. Use the knowledge in African, buy Africans with the Africans. Wow.
Think global and act local.
Yeah, think global and act local. Amazing. Thank you so very much, sir. I don't know if you have anything you want to say as your closing thoughts. It's been an amazing time. I would just want you to say that right now, still in the direction of changing the narrative of Africa through agribusiness. So I don't know if you have any closing thoughts you would want to give us right now as we round up.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tayo. And of course, thank you so much for the opportunity. Of course, want to thank all our participants for taking out time to join us this evening. My parting shot, basically, for all of us, is for us to begin to localize our raw materials, localize our resources. Let us begin to use what we have, eat what we grow, and forget about import. Let's begin to localize our resources, our raw materials. Let's begin to localize our technology. Let's begin to localize our innovation, and let's try to work, with one another. We need to build trust. We need to, collaborate. We need to build partnership. We need to build bridges, all across Africa. And by doing that, trust me, and by also connecting with Africans in the diaspora, the narrative for Africa will change in a very speedy manner that the whole world is going to be shocked. Our exploit is going to be even greater than what China is currently witnessing. So let's collaborate, let's work together, let's do this together, and I can bet you Africa is going to be the place, to be for everybody globally. We have the best climate in the world. We have the best environment, and let's make it the best place, the best able for everybody to live and exist. Thank you.
Wow, amazing. Thank you so much, sir. It's a privilege, and thank you for the wisdom share. Thank you for the value added. We are so grateful. Thank you so much, and
My pleasure.
wish
So,
you all the best in all your endeavors as you keep fixing African continent through agribusiness. Thank you very much. We love you so dearly. Thank you, and thank you everybody for staying all through, for everyone who started with us from the beginning and who are still helping now. If you are not watching this live, I think for those who are not here, I would say maybe you say to them, if you are here, say to them that they need to hear this. If you really want to fix Africa through agribusiness, a lot of wisdom has been shared today, and a lot of insight. And the baseline for me, the baseline or the bottom line for me is we should start, or we should increase our capacity, seek knowledge, and then collaborate as Africans. Stop looking without Africa. Start looking within Africa, and then when we start doing that, the narrative will start begin to change. Thank you so very much, sir. It's been an awesome time with you. I hope to see you some other time. Thank you very much, and have an amazing evening. And bye, everyone. Thank you.
thank you.